What is going on, guys? My name is Rahmi Pruitt. You are watching the Black Tech Experience live. And today I have a very special show for you. Oh, yeah, before I mention that, I just want to say once again, this is not a Black channel. This is a channel about inspiring, innovating, and breaking down barriers in tech. And so today I have a very special show for you. I'm going to be talking about DonorSync progress updates, the lows of being a founder, as well as why you need to choose the right SaaS template and the struggles that I've been having starting my own project, as well as finally React versus Svelte, why I chose to do that as an indie hacker. And so, yeah, I guess I'll get into it. So my name is Rahmi Pruitt. I am a software engineer, and ex-Amazon, ex-Twitch, ex-Google intern or whatever. And I have been building DonorSync. DonorSync is a tool to aggregate donations for creators across various different platforms, so they don't have to look across their various different platforms for their information about their true fans, as well as giving them analytics in a dashboard. And so I just want to say it's week 2 in my journey building DonorSync. Obviously, I've spent months thinking of the idea. And so I have been feeling quite a little bit depressed on my journey because I've started this niche, which I call stream engineering, which is a indie hacker making making content about how the process of making the app from day one until they release it and maybe beyond. And so I realized I've created a lot of work for myself, right? Like my business plan is amazing in my opinion. I think I've gotten great feedback about where my 2-year visions for DonorSync in this channel. And when the rubber hit the road, I'm starting to really realize what I have signed myself up for. I spent 12 hours editing videos, and I needed those hours to put into DonorSync, right? So it's like this mix between me marketing my product on YouTube and bringing awareness, and as well as me actually having the time to create the software. And so as well as number 2, which I would say is that DonorSync is evolving, right? I thought when I first started DonorSync, the reason why I chose to do this project over the other projects that I've been thinking about is that I thought DonorSync would be a quick money grab, right? It's a simple problem, but as I have researched the problems that creators are going through, I realized that there is such a opportunity for me to make a creator first platform, right? And so I have this question: do I build DonorSync for right now to make some money so that I can not get into my so I can not go back to work faster, right? Or do I build something that scales, that's going to be ready from day one to get to those 0 to 100,000 customers? I had a person, I think his name was Sean in my last stream, that asked me the difference between why have a monolithic service versus a microservice-based architecture. And another reason that I'm feeling this is that setting a microservice type architecture up as a indie hacker, as a solo founder, is a huge pain in the ass. I have to deal with networking issues. I have to make sure that everything is working correctly. And I don't see the benefits of having 2 services like if I had multiple people working with me, right? If I had team members, they could work on the front end while I work on the back end, and we wouldn't be stepping on each other's toes. Where if I was in a monolithic service, right, maybe that would be a little bit more challenging. But yeah, I don't see the benefits today of building this microservice based architecture for DonorSync. And finally, I just want to say that I don't know if millions of people are watching this video or this live stream and they're like, man, thank you so much for sacrifice to bring DonorSync today. I don't know if DonorSync is just a failed project and I'm doing something different next year, but I have decided to be truly committed towards building something that's going to be able to scale from day one. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet my deadline of releasing it to my Patreon audience in 2 months and maybe releasing it to the internet in 4. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm still going to fight to make it happen. However, I'm committed towards the journey and not the destination. I think the reason why I really enjoy building DonorSync is because it's fun for me. I get to learn things that I would never get the chance to learn working at Facebook or Google or Microsoft. If you listen to FAANG engineers, they talk about how you don't get to learn about these experiences of building software up from the ground up because everything is already abstracted. So, yeah, I just want to tell you, I was a little bit down. I'm committing to the journey, and let me know in the comments what you think I should do as far as building something that's scalable long term, or should I just make money or make something a little bit faster, but it's not going to scale. But I'll end it there. Thanks so much. All right, looks like we got some people in here. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments, but I'm here for it. I'm going to go ahead and start up the next video. In the meantime, or set it up. It looks like I'm not having any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the next video. Just let me know where you're from in the chat if you are listening. But yeah, I guess let's get into it. Hello, my name is Rahmi Pruitt. I'm an ex-Twitch, ex-Amazon software engineer. And today I'm talking to you why it's super important to pick the right template for your SaaS product. So if you don't know, I'm building DonorSync. And what I've realized in building this product is that I hit a wall yesterday because I was trying to move components about React into Svelte. And I thought with AI, it would be really simple, right? I saw these components online and I wanted it in my project. And I didn't really understand how important it is to understand the component libraries of the framework that you were choosing. And so AI is not a be all end all solution today in 2025. AI is not capable of telling you that you're going down the wrong path, that the way that you're doing things is going to take you a month. it is not sentient enough to nudge you in the right direction all the time, right? It's very obedient. And when you ask it to do something, it will tell you, sometimes it will. I have seen with Claude that it will nudge you on the right direction. But yeah, what I realized that I could not do it the right way. I what is the word? I became frustrated with AI, and it's like, I think most people think it's this end all be all tool, but it's not. And so another thing that I want to say is that it is capable of helping you with research, but it is not going to tell you that there was another way. For example, I wanted this component library, which was shadcn, and I was looking at the React-based repository, and I told ChatGPT, I was like, hey, like, I'm looking for this repository. Can I copy it into React? Can I copy it into my Svelte project? And it was a React project. And it said, no, you need to look for XYZ. You need to look for Svelte libraries. But it never told me that there is a Svelte version of shadcn. It was something that I investigated when I did Google search. And so it's just another point for you guys to understand that you need to be doing your own research with the chat or with these models if you want to be able to build a product up from the ground up. And so I have found my own templates that I feel like would be good for you guys. And I'm going to share them on my screen just so you get a picture. But let's just look at the templates first. So one moment. So here's an example of a SaaS template registry, right? If you're using, I would recommend something like Tailwind because it is a tool it gives you a lot of customization around your CSS. And so if you look here, when you preview some of these, you can look at it. Like, think about how much work you can be saved if I was building DonorSync and I had this template. And so you see some templates are used specifically you have to pay for them, right? And they give you the libraries that it is compatible with, that they've already set aside for you. AI is not capable of if you are working in a Svelte project, right? Then you are not capable of using something like just making this template for Svelte. Obviously, with the HTML, you can copy things a lot faster, but it is not perfect, right? I've seen templates that go as far as to set up Stripe and set up Superbase for you. I think the template that I'm using currently right now is going to do that. And there also exist free templates. So let me see let's look. So I know this template is free because this was the one I was trying to work on yesterday, right? There are free templates for you if you're building a SaaS or a startup from the ground up. You can just come in here and replace it with whatever you have. But yeah, if it's built in React, you have to have a stack that's already in React and not try to rerun it. And so you might want to look for SaaS templates that only work with HTML. Or let me see, there's one more, and I'll place these links inside of it. So yeah, like, they have dark mode already there. And let's see, I want to go see, they're asking me for $70. And for you guys, like, if you want to just get started and you have deadlines, Svelte is buying a template might be worth your time. And see, they even have Laravel Vue. And you want to be looking for templates like, let's say you're building a backend with Superbase. There are Superbase templates with Stripe already pre-configured. And they give you the ability to hit the ground running when you are working on a project. And so, yeah, they even have like templates if you want just to have documentation, right? Whatever you need. So spend some time looking at the templates before you try to make a project. It'll make sure that you don't have to spend time setting things up like me. And give me 1 second. I'm pulling it back up. So, yeah, in my conclusion for IndieHackers, I would, if you are trying to make a app that is going to make you $5,000 a month and you don't want to worry about the framework, pick a mainstream language like React or Vue. I think for the long-term success of DonorSync, I'm really excited about making something that's fast and has a view. But let me know in the comments section, what is your go-to framework as an indie hacker for building something fast? And hopefully I can let you guys see the end result of DonorSync with the widgets that I'm about to create, of it being in Svelte. Hopefully it'll work out for me, but I guess I will end the video there. Shout out to my brother in Memphis, Tennessee. So just looking at the comments, I guess I'll just display it. Kay said how Seattle treated me. I like Seattle. Honestly, what is the word? Seattle is a very cool city. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and in my opinion, Seattle has a lot more to do than Memphis. At the same time, I miss my home, and it is extremely, well, not extremely, it's expensive to live here. I spent about 2,700 on rent. And so, yeah, it's definitely not the place that you want to be as a, well, there are some benefits to being here as an indie hacker. And then there are, what is the word? This it's a great opportunity to network. Like I meet people from NVIDIA. I hear OpenAI has a campus down here. Like if you want to network with some very successful engineers, like this is a great place. Cool. All right. So I'm going to get into the final video, which is React versus Svelte, why I chose Svelte as a indie hacker. And so let me make sure I have everything ready. Yeah, my bad. False alarm, guys. Oh, no, it was ready. Let me pull it up. And let me take the comments off. All right. So my name is Rahmi Pruitt. I'm an ex-software engineer with Amazon, Twitch, ex-Google intern. And today I'm talking to you why I chose Svelte over React for building my IndieHacker project. So I think many people would say that React is a better language because it's more mainstream. But in my opinion, I think Svelte is a lot better because it's just a lot more fun to write an app with Svelte. And this is coming from somebody who has written React on the Twitch player. I've worked on massive React code bases, and it becomes super challenging in order to understand what's going on because React can get quite complicated as your systems grow. So I'm going to give you an example of React and Svelte. We'll talk about it and prepare a little bit of the downsides and upsides. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to do that. Excuse me. There it is. So you can see that, or maybe not. But React versus Svelte, a detailed comparison. As you see, React hydrates the DOM, right? As you open the page on the client side, it starts to do its thing as far as progressing, making the JavaScript come. It's meant to happen on the client side, and although they have made like new tools, which is server components, its foundation is in the DOM rendering, which makes it a little bit slow. Like if you've seen React sites, and I'm going to pull them up eventually, you'll see that React sites tend to have a longer load time. And so in comparison, Svelte is it's a compile language. It compiles to vanilla JavaScript. And it is a lot smaller. Like, look at this, 40 kilobytes when compressed, where Svelte is 3 kilobytes when compressed. So that's minimal data over the wire for your users to download or the browser to download before actually the page is rendered. And so I really that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to build DonorSync with Svelte, is because I want widgets that are moving really fast. And so let's take a look at how Svelte manages state. So you have something like a counter, and you use your hooks. And even though like hooks are a lot better than they used to be, right? I don't know if you guys remember how it was with classes, but this is as small as it's gotten to do with React. You have to manage this counter, and you have to set this count. And although this does not look like a lot, like on the Twitch player, something like this becomes massive. It becomes extremely massive as far as that, where look, like you don't even have to use some special function or import anything. All you have to do is say leg count and click, and it's done. So in comparison, like this is 2 lines of code, and where this is just abstracted to just one. And so managing state, you have all these various different state functions, like to use state, use the reducer, use context to manage your state, where it's just built into Svelte for what is it? State management is built into the Svelte language, and you don't need to look for any framework in order to help with that. And so, yeah, the template syntax, in my opinion, JavaScript is a little bit better as far as making things that you can write fast, where Svelte is more declarative, right? It's easier to read. Like if you have experience with something like Golang, you understand how when code is simple, it's easier to maintain. It's easier to understand what's going on. It's easier to like onboard a new employee to your job. And so with virtual DOM, when you have these massive state management, like hooks, user profiles. I don't know if you're in the React, then you have ads. It's just a lot simpler. Like, and the performance, like as your code base grows, I hear that React is a better language overall because it can help you make micro front ends. But I don't envision DonorSync to go beyond. I'm not really thinking about DonorSync as a product that's going to have or as a company that's going to have more than 100 employees. And so perhaps if you were building something with 1,000 employees, you would think to yourself, like, oh, I need something like React because it's already like there's major players in Spotify and not Spotify, in Twitch and others companies that are using React at these levels and they're pre-building tools. And so the learning curve, the performance, it's just a lot easier. Let me see if they give me any more context. So yeah, obviously I've talked about earlier how I've had a issue with the templates, right? React has many users that are building templates, right? It's been around longer, where Svelte is a smaller ecosystem, right? We don't have that big of players into each situation. But it is growing. I think it is something that is worth investing your time in understanding because Svelte is in my opinion, as you've seen, a better language overall, right? So when to choose React or Svelte. So if you're a large enterprise with a very complex application, I would say React is better for you. It's more ready to scale with multiple teams, right? When to use Svelte. It's a better project if you're smaller or medium-sized applications. So DonorSync is not going to ever be as complicated as React. Maybe it will be as complicated as Patreon, but it is not managing thousands of viewers concurrently on one page all at one moment. And so I think Svelte is a better fit for IndieHackers. It's what I would recommend, right? And we're seeing a little bit more code snippets, which I would have liked earlier. But look, here's the form. We have the hooks where it is, and let me see if I can get that closer. So this is a form data, right? We're looking for name and email. We have this handle the form input. We have to prevent the defaults, right? We have two functions, one for setting the state of the form, one for actually handling said manipulation, or I guess they're console logging it right there. And so look at how verbose it is just to handle a form, where in Svelte, the same function is half the size, right? I think this is just a lot more fun for me to read and understand what is going on. And this balloons up, guys, like with more complexity, your React app with doing all this complicated logic, it's just going to be a headache to maintain long term. Where Svelte is just, you come in, like I could go into a Svelte project on GitHub and I'm ready to make contributions day one just because it's not as complicated as your business logic grows on the front end. It's just not as complicated. So React has all these features, these new features, in order to help you get up to the performance that Svelte has, which is concurrent rendering, server components, right? Where it's like it's putting a Band-Aid over something that messed up from the beginning. And so you understand that when you, in my opinion, something that is first is not always best, right? But when you're first, you win. Like, think about, people will honestly say that Android has a lot more had a lot of features that iPhone took, but since iPhone was first to capture the market in smartphones, a lot of people think when they think of smartphones, they think of iPhone, even though it's not necessarily the best smartphone today. It was just first. And so, yep. As far as the things, like there has not been as many, there's not a, well, there are major updates. I'm not familiar with the rooms, but as you see, Svelte is less mature, but it is something that I am willing to stake my career on as far as making a project that is going to be that is going to scale well and have great performance. And so that, let me give you guys a little bit of examples as far as sites that are built in React and Svelte. So I will give you the example of Twitch. Like, let's look at Twitch right now. Let's just go to Twitch. Also, I should be streaming on Twitch. If you guys are looking at that. So I don't know if you guys paid attention to how long that took in order for it to load. Let me see if I can just go. It's pretty fast, but you can see for a split second, it goes there, right? And I'm guessing I'm not logged into Twitch, but if you want to check me out, shameless plug, the Black Tech Experience on Twitch, right? 0 views. We cannot play that. But yeah, check me out every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'll give you another example of a site that's built in React, which is Discord, right? Let me see if I can open Discord without the challenging. Look at that load time. Look at how long that took for it to just get up and running, right? Obviously, when you've already loaded, it gets a lot faster. But that is something that I would not like to see in DonorSync. So I am going to spend the time to maybe write more code since things are not ready. But I'll let you know, like maybe in the future, I will be looking at DonorSync and I'll be like, maybe React would have been a lot better because I have to make everything from scratch. And if you guys want to look at some websites that are built in Svelte, we can take a look at chess.com. Look how instant that was. Obviously, there's a lot less going on, but excuse me, it's just a smoother experience when you load the page. When it's almost instant. Like I can barely see like it changing when I try to refresh the page. Another great example of a site that is built in Svelte is Spotify. I don't know. I don't have a Spotify account. I wonder if they'll let me just use it. That's weird. Spotify.com. A little bit of a load time there, but it's built to be fast. It's built for users to be able to click things and just move through and have very fast load times for the page. It's a lot faster. And so Svelte is something that's being used at the highest stages. So it's not like it's so unrefined that there's no big players in the Svelte community. And so, yeah, I guess that is it as far as me showing you examples. But other than that, I will say, let me double check my notes. My mistake. If you guys have any questions about that, just let me know. But I guess I'm going to end it here. let me guys know what you use in your stack, whether you think React is worth the complexity and the pain it is to write, or would you go for something like Svelte? But other than that, deuces. All right. Spotify, let me see. Somebody said Spotify is built in React. Let me double check. Maybe my information was incorrect. Yes, more lives to come every Tuesdays and Thursdays. You guys are right. What sites are built in? I could have swore I asked this question yesterday. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I guess I'm giving you, and I did see a little bit of a load time. They're giving me examples like, why? I swear I asked Claude yesterday was what was built in React. This is hilarious. I swear that I'm just looking up. Ugh. What sites are built in Svelte? Let's see if we can get one more example. So the New York Times, 1Password. So it seems like, yeah, interesting. Chess.com, 1Password, web client, New York Times interactive stories. Huh. Whatever. All right. I wonder how I can set that up. But let me talk to my audience a little bit. So, what's up? Spotify is building React. Yeah, I just figured that out. My apologies for that. I'll just give you the example of chess.com. I guess some of their internal tools was built in Svelte, and that's why that's why in my research, I was probably given that. I apologize. And yes, I will be having a live Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's generally when you can count on me to make something. Also, I have a lot of videos coming out next week, right? I've cut up the lives from last week and I'm going to add them. I think it looks like I have 7 people in here right now. And I'm surprised because it's like, what is it? I didn't have any people in the beginning. So I was like, I did all my content there. If this is a better time for people, like, let me know. But I guess that's all I have for you. I don't know if anybody has anything they want me to talk about before I go. But yeah, I'm glad I kept this live short on purpose because I wanted to not edit as much over the weekend and I want to, have time to code. That way I can give you the more time I have to code, the more time I have to give you content that really, is informative. So I'm going to be keeping things a little bit shorter for a while until I get the hang of things. But other than that, nobody has anything in the next minute or two. I'm gonna get up out of here. So will I be attending startup events in Seattle? I don't mind going. I don't have anything in mind. Like if you have any events that you feel like I should be a part of, then I'll do it. And have a good one, Joseph. Shout out, my guy. How much time are you spending building daily? It just depends. Obviously, if you talk about raw hours, I'd say like 6 hours a day just on coding. But you know what's interesting? Like, I don't think you need, in my opinion, as a more mid-level engineer, I would say most of your time needs to be spent designing rather than like writing code, because it's just like that philosophy, like measure twice, cut once. Because when you cut something, like I've already spent hours doing things that I might not even use for my stack. So it's really important to be super clear about what you're doing and why you're doing it. I think if you talk about the time that I spend researching, in building, I would say I'd say I get closer to like 10 hours, with 6 of them actually being like coding. But yes, if you don't know, I am full time. Fortunately, even though I have a lot of criticism about Amazon, I appreciate that I have the opportunity to take the entire year off and make something. So I think progressively these videos are going to get a lot better once I have things set up. And yeah, just bear with me. I know that I don't have any of the bells and whistles and things for you to see just yet, but I am building the software and I am going through all the various problems of an indie hacker, and I'm hoping to just help you guys speed up along the way. But I guess that's it from me. Really appreciate you guys. Hopefully have some cool stuff Thursday. Like maybe we can talk about deploying it to Flight.io. But other than that, I will see you. Peace.